Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? What we're going to be talking about right now is what's going on around the world and why we should prepare for what's going on around the world. Okay, so current global risks to prepare for. All right. So the first thing is the UN. The UN's 2025 Global Humanitarian Overview estimates that 305 million people worldwide need urgent humanitarian assistance due to conflicts, climate shocks, and economic instability. Conflicts in Sudan, it's like 30.4 million in need. Syria, 16.7 million. And the Democratic Republic of Congo, 21.2 million, are driving massive displacement, with Sudan alone accounting for 11 million internally displaced people. Global food insecurity affects 282 million people, worsened by conflicts and climate events like droughts in southern Africa. So, what is the real world scenario? Well, in Sudan, ongoing conflict since April of 2023 has displaced 11 million people, with 17 million children out of school and widespread food shortages. This could lead to regional instability, affecting neighboring countries like Chad, which hosts 2 million Sudanese refugees. So, how do we prepare? Maintain 2 to 4 week supply of non-perishable food and water, 1 gallon per person per day, and medical supplies to hedge against potential supply chain disruptions from global crises. Build local support networks for sharing resources, as displaced populations often rely on community aid when formal systems fail. Monitor the global conflict trackers like the international crises group Crest Watch for early warnings of regional instability that could impact trade or migration. So the next thing is 2024 was the warmest year on record, pushing the world close to the 1.5 degree Celsius warming threshold. Extreme weather events like we are all seeing, hurricanes, floods, droughts, are increasing, with southern Africa facing a 40-year drought affecting 2.2 million in Angola alone. Social media posts are highlighting concerns about rising sea levels, heat waves, and wildfires disrupting food and water access. In Myanmar, cyclone and floods are expected to devastate communities in this year, with the country receiving only 0.25% of global climate funding to cope. Similarly, Somalia's hunger crisis is worsening due to the La Nina driven droughts, with 1.6 million children at risk of malnutrition. So prepare a go bag with essentials, flashlight, batteries, you know the drill, okay, for rapid evacuation during floods and wildfires. Invest in water purification tablets or portable filters, as droughts and floods can contaminate our water supplies. Reinforce your home against local weather risks like storm shutters in hurricane prone areas, fireproofing in wildfire zones. So, what is the next thing? Well, global economic risks include potential financial crises driven by U.S. policy shifts, like the tariff uncertainties, which could shock markets. The U.S. suspension of foreign aid for a 90-day review in 2025 threatens humanitarian programs, particularly in Yemen, where 50% of aid relies on U.S. funding. High inflation and debt crises in countries like the Sudan and Lebanon exacerbate poverty and food insecurity. Lebanon's economy has collapsed, with the Lebanese pound losing 98%, I believe it was, of its value since 2019, and food prices rising 350%, leaving 80% of the population in poverty. A potential U.S. triggered financial crisis could further disrupt global trade, spiking costs for essentials. So save at least 3 to 6 months of expenses in an emergency fund to cushion against job loss or price spikes. Stock barterable items like batteries and hygiene products to offset cash shortages and economic turndowns. Support your local food producers to reduce reliance on volatile global supply chains. So the next thing is the U.S. utility grids. They face cybersecurity threats with confirmed malware infiltration, raising risks of grid shutdowns, because you guys know that our grid is most at risk. The 2021 Colonial Pipeline attack showed how cyber attacks can disrupt fuel supplies with similar vulnerabilities that persist. A grid shutdown in a major city could cut power, water, communication for days, as seen in Texas' 2021 winter storm with ERCOT, which left millions without heat or electricity. Warnings of EMP attacks, cyber attacks, causing widespread outages, leading to rapid loss of water and food excess. So invest in solar charges, smaller generator for critical devices like phone, med equipment during outages. Keep physical maps, cash, and printed emergency contacts, as digital systems may fail. Secure your personal devices with strong passwords and updated software to protect against data breaches during crises. Now, the next thing is the WHO. They finalized a pandemic preparedness agreement for April 2025. And this was allegedly to strengthen global response to future health crises, highlighting ongoing risks. And the fragile health systems that we also love to death in conflict zones like Myanmar and Lebanon face cholera and other disease outbreaks worsened by war and climate shocks. Now, Myanmar's health system, battered by over 1,500 attacks since 2021, is ill-equipped for cholera outbreaks, while Lebanon's collapsing hospital struggles with rising disease risks. A new pandemic would overwhelm even stronger systems, as seen during Mr. 19. Now, could that happen here? We are not considered a third world country like Lebanon, so I don't believe so. But what I would do is stock a 30-day supply of your meds. Okay, a lot of us that are on scripts get 90-day supply anyway. But make sure you have a 30-day supply. If you choose to do the face things again, your hand sanitizers to prepare for any kind of disruptions. Learn your basic first aid and hygiene practices to manage minor injuries and infections at home. I don't plan on it, but like going outside of the country or anything like that, I don't even leave my own home. But that's just me. But for those of you that travel for work, just be very, very careful and be on the up and up. So why prepare now? These crises, the displacement, the climate shocks, the economic instability, the cybersecurity threats, the health risks, they are all interconnected and they are escalating. The World Economic Forum, Klaus, he stepped down. The 2025 Global Risks and Reports. The short-term crisis management often diverts resources from long-term preparedness, creating a doom loop. And the declining global cooperation and the funding cuts strain humanitarian responses leaving vulnerable populations, potentially global stability at risk. I would start small. If you haven't been preparing, I would start small. Okay? A few weeks worth of food and water, basic first aid kit, $100 in cash. Learn your skills. Okay? There are free online courses in emergency preparedness. Go for I think it's called IFRC per approach, basic survival skills. Stay alert, follow trusted sources for the updates or emerging risks. Okay, you guys know the drill. Okay, we learned our lesson from 2020. Okay, let's not do that again. All right. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I will see you in the next one. Yeah, you stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping, and as always, fear less. Ciao.